I'll never be the same person again after watching what actually took place over there. The brutality, the inhumanity, not treating people like they're humans.
My mother is a Holocaust survivor, and I don't wish her to watch this movie.
I was in Israel for a few weeks. I visited some of the sites, the families, to see that the footage, raw footage, in one reel, it's a stab in the heart 1,000 times.
There are people that say that that didn't happen.
I wish the people who said it didn't happen can watch what took place. You can't make the stuff up that we just saw. It's the most inhumane, brutal thing I've ever seen literally in my entire life, and I ever will see in my entire life.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's cruel. It's surreal that people can be so disconnected from what's going on, because what we've seen here today is Holocaust number 2.
There is a repeating of the ISIS. It's a repeating of Hitler time. And every person that was here, hopefully, will be the angel to make the difference and to wipe Hamas from the earth. And United Nations and the head of the UN better wake up and wake up now, because he's not a diplomat, he's a politician.
We're in the halls of the United Nations. I feel like we're in the halls of the silent nations. The leaders of the world, the conscience of the world needs to wake up. This cannot be the silent nations. It needs to be the nations with moral clarity that call out this darkness and eradicate evil. We need to bring light to this world.
And bring light to the world, and that's why they're releasing the video in very short little doses.
Yeah, I mean, everyone keeps asking me, what's the best way to describe the type of footage that we saw? In American culture, probably international culture, you see the kids, and they always are having their phone out to post on Instagram, TikTok, their daily life, or if they're on a jet, they're on the beach and all that. Replace that with killing. That was Hamas. This was their prized possession. They wanted to show the whole world. They wanted to show their families. So as they did their brutal acts, they were celebrating. There were smiles on their faces, all young men, too. They looked no more than 18 or 19, and they're happy about it. They're calling their parents about it. There was one footage of a dad, and him and his kids are in their boxers, and they're rushing into the bomb shelter. And the dad is trying to shield his sons as they go in. Hamas chases him down and throws a grenade in there, blows up the dad. The 2 sons survive. The kids are hurled up by Hamas to go back in the house, and they're sitting on the couch screaming, saying, "Dad is gone, Dad is gone." Yeah. And then there was a portion in there where one of the sons said, "Wait, I can't see." From the flash of the grenade had blinded the kid. Hamas goes in, opens up the refrigerator, pulls a bottle of Coke and starts to drink it, and looks at the kid and said, "Do y'all want some water?" And he said, "No, I want my dad." Yeah. That is the brutality that Hamas did on that day, and that's what they will continue to do if they're not eliminated.
It's hard to unsee what you saw.
Yeah.
I want to see the video so that we can report on it. Yeah, but those images will be etched in your mind for the rest of your life.
Yeah, there were folks that I would say probably a third of the group that witnessed this, even some congressional members. Mm-hmm. I let them tell their own story, but we're not able to make it through the entire video. And that was only 10% of the attacks.
And we'll see this again. We'll talk to a little bit more about it a little bit later.